Few assets are as valuable as your financial education. Once acquired, it will never be lost and can generate a radical change in your financial situation. Learning the knowledge, skills, and tools to manage your money can dramatically impact your financial success. The lack of it can seriously affect your finances, your relationship with money, and all aspects of your life. If you would like to start your journey towards your financial education, this video is for you, because today we will see the 12 definitive steps to start your financial education. Are you ready? Let's go! Step 1. Educate yourself about personal finance. If you want to start something, education will always be the most important, as you can learn the necessary tools and skills to deal with the situations that arise. And in this case, it is no exception. If you are a person with little knowledge of personal finance or have not yet adequately developed your financial intelligence, it is important to nourish your mind with the knowledge of everything that financial education means. Personally, I recommend that, to start educating yourself, you surround yourself with people who are more skilled at handling money than you, so you can learn financial habits by imitation. But if you don't have people with these characteristics around you, you can start your financial education by reading books. Therefore, I recommend that you set aside a moment of your day when you wake up or before bed, or if you have little time, dedicate a few hours of your weekend to acquire this knowledge through books, blogs on the internet, podcasts, or YouTube channels like this one. Dive into this exciting world and acquire this knowledge. But I must say that financial education is not a goal to be achieved, but rather a lifestyle to follow. So you should incorporate it into your daily life and make it part of your routine. It should accompany you throughout your life and is the best and biggest time investment you can make. Don't worry about reading all the books on financial education, but rather those that are easier to understand or apply to your specific situation. Remember that it is better to read one book 10 times than 10 books only once, so you will understand and apply what you have learned in your daily life. Step 2. Assess your current financial situation. It is important that, in the first step, you learn and read about financial education as recommended, as this will give you the necessary tools to assess your current financial situation. In this step, you should analyze how much money you have, how much and what type of debt you have incurred, your savings, your expenses, what your sources of income are, and the assets and liabilities you have. From this general analysis, you can see panoramically how your financial health is. It may be that, in relation to your income and expenses, you are in deficit. That is, that your expenses are exceeding your income, which may be constantly leading you to debt. Or it could also be that your income covers your expenses, but however, in the face of losing your job and stop receiving your salary, this could cause an imbalance in your finances. The third case that could occur is when you have an income that far exceeds your expenses, and you have surpluses that, if you do not know how to invest, you would be losing money due to the opportunity cost of investing them properly and getting more out of your money. Here, I recommend that you make a list of all your fixed and variable income and expenses, and also make a list of your debts, your credit cards, an inventory of your assets, classifying them into assets and liabilities. In short, it is to identify your overall financial situation. Step 3. Create a basic budget. With the list of income and expenses from the previous step, it's now time to make a budget. Simply put, a budget is an estimate of what you could have as income and expenses in the future. Don't overcomplicate it, and as a suggestion, in the beginning, don't try to control all your money in detail, even the coffees you drink on the street or the small expenses you make. When you are starting to organize your finances, it is important to first form the habit so that you learn naturally, and it is not complicated or annoying to do so. For example, if it is difficult to control the small expenses you make with your money, simply assign a fixed monthly amount in your budget and stick to it. Where you should focus on controlling in detail are the income and expenses that represent larger amounts of money in your budget. In the beginning, focus on the most important expenses, that is, the highest value expenses. Then, when you are more used to it, control the others in more detail, setting limits for your daily, weekly, or monthly expenses. and always prioritize needs over wants. Make your budget simple. Estimate what your monthly income and expenses will be, and take the opportunity to identify the expenses that are really necessary. If they are not, eliminate or reduce them. It is very important that in this step, you set aside money to save at least 10% to 20% of your income. Step 4. Understand and manage your debts. In this budget that you are preparing, you should consider the payment of outstanding debts and prioritize their payment, because I can guarantee that in your situation, there will be no better investment for your money than paying off your debts and getting rid of the interest that you could incur. Before you even think about investing, pay off all your short and medium-term debts or look for alternatives to manage your debts. You could negotiate the repurchase of your debts and thus reduce rates or make gradual payments to principal. In previous videos, we explained the methods of debt payment through the snowball or avalanche method, but we recommend applying the avalanche method as it will allow you to order all your debts according to the interest rate and pay off the ones with the highest rate first, so you can decrease your financial expenses. Learn to differentiate between good and bad debt and avoid unnecessary debt. We are not saying that you should not have debts, but rather that you should manage them properly. In the financial area, it is advisable that short-term investments be paid with short-term debt and long-term investments with long-term debt. For example, acquiring a house. It is always recommended to acquire it over a long credit period, even if you have all the money to pay for it. It is better to use the bank's money to acquire the property and invest our own money in a business that gives us a greater benefit, profitability, than the interest that the bank would charge us. Step 5. Save. If you have already made your budget, identified your income and expenses, and also have a plan to pay off your debts, only then can you allocate your money to save. As we always suggest, start saving for your emergency fund between 3 to 6 months of your income. This will depend on the risk level of your situation. After reaching this emergency fund, start saving to invest. Remember that people who built their fortunes did not do so just by saving their money, but by investing. Therefore, this previous step is what will allow you to build the necessary capital to make your money grow. There are many saving methods, such as the 50, 30, and 20, which consists of allocating 20% of your income to savings, also the 52 weeks, or the one recommended in the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, which is to set aside 10% of your income, which, by the way, you can find within our kit of more than 100 books. First link in the description. Take advantage, because it is 80% off for a limited time. Anyway, there are many methods. Just choose one that suits your situation and apply it. The important thing is that you can raise the necessary capital. Remember that it is recommended that before saving, you define your short and long-term savings goals. Don't save without knowing what you are going to use the money for. Be clear about your goals, and it will be easier to achieve them, and you will be able to know the exact amount and time it will take to achieve them. Step 6. Start investing. In the first step, we talked about educating yourself financially through reading or learning from other people. So it is from this moment that you should acquire this knowledge about the different investment instruments available on the market or study the possibility of investing in some venture. I suggest that, from the beginning, you study the investment possibilities and identify the opportunities. When you manage to raise enough money with your savings, as we explained in the previous step, start investing. Make sure to make your investments gradually. Don't invest all your money until you are sure you know and understand the dynamics of the investment instrument you have chosen. In the market, there are many investment opportunities, such as real estate, online sales, digital product sales, some venture, stock market, among many others. Although particularly for someone who does not have a lot of money, I would not recommend entering real estate or the stock market if your intention is to make your money grow, because these are investments that have low profitability and require greater capital investment compared to other investments. Many rich people or people with good financial stability use them mainly to conserve their money. If you have little money, I would recommend that you develop a skill and sell it, or a venture. These require little capital. However, you can achieve high margins if you have a successful venture. It can help you multiply your money quickly, although it has a higher risk of failure, but also great benefits if successful. It is no coincidence that undertaking and creating companies has been the way in which most multimillionaires built their enormous fortunes. Step 7. Plan your retirement. The passage of time is inevitable. Sooner or later, we will no longer have the strength to support ourselves financially. Therefore, we must ensure that in old age, we have the necessary resources to live a dignified and decent life. Think, from today, about the life you would like to have, where you would like to live, the comforts with which you would like to spend your days. Plan your retirement, ensuring you have enough assets that can cover your expenses. So, from today, start building those assets that will provide you with passive income in the future. Why not start now? Through a mutual fund or financial index, a stock portfolio that gives you dividends and you can live on them. Ensuring you have these sources will give you peace of mind and freedom to use your time without worrying about money. Establishing a retirement plan is thinking responsibly, financially speaking, because if you don't, it can seriously affect your personal and financial well-being in the future. If you are a more conservative person, you can investigate or opt for the many retirement account options available in the market, for which, of course, you will have to make regular contributions. Step 8. Ensure and protect your financial future. Nobody knows what can happen in the future, so to prevent adverse situations from affecting your finances and financial situation, it is to be aware of this possibility and therefore be responsible for anticipating it and acquiring life, health, or property insurance, with the purpose that unexpected events do not become your financial ruin. It is better to have a backup to be able to face these situations in the best possible way. Learn about the different insurances available on the market and purchase one that meets your needs. Unfortunately, many people go through critical situations that require economic solutions, and due to the lack of this insurance, are forced, by urgency, to resort to credits or loans with high interest, further complicating their situation. Rich people know this, so they keep all their properties and assets insured, which means that any mishap with them does not significantly affect their assets. We must be responsible and think not only in the short term, but in the long term, and in the possible situations that could lead us to lose our money, which was so hard for us to earn. Step 9. Seek professional guidance. It is true that we can educate ourselves financially in a self-taught way. However, as mentioned in previous steps, the fastest way to acquire these skills is by learning from other people who have already achieved the results you want to achieve. Therefore, it is not surprising that large company executives and even millionaires have had mentors and consultants to support and help them in their growth, personal and financial development. Learning from your mistakes is good. However, learning from the mistakes of others is great, as you will get the benefits of that learning without suffering the consequences of failure, whether in your professional, work area, or in some venture or investment. Learning and surrounding yourself with people who have more knowledge, skill, or intelligence than us is a very common characteristic of people who have achieved financial success, because absolutely no one built their fortune or business empire alone. They just needed the support of their environment and knew how to take advantage of it to get the most out of it. Step 10. Diversify your sources of income. Ensuring the increase of your income on a recurring basis is a key step to increase your net worth and your wealth, so you can increase your savings rate and therefore increase your available capital to invest. If the income you currently have is not enough, or not even enough to think about saving, then you should start exploring additional sources of income, considering secondary activities to your main occupation. If you want to live off your investments and achieve the much desired financial freedom, you must first strive and use your working hours to exchange them for money. There is no other way, at least until you accumulate enough capital to invest. If you continue to constantly increase your asset column, there will come a time when the benefits from them will completely cover your expenses and may even exceed your current income and increase your income exponentially. And thus, finally, Stop working for other people's companies and dreams and start working for yours. Remember that diversifying your sources of income does not necessarily mean having many sources of income, at least not in the beginning, since the ideal is that you find the activity that is most profitable for you and focus on developing it to obtain higher income and serve as your main economic support and sustenance. After that, you could think of other additional income alternatives and diversify. Step 11. Learn about taxation and taxes. If you have any business, you will realize the impact that taxes have on your profits, especially if you do not know how to take advantage legally of the best way to deal with paying them. Therefore, although it seems tedious, it is important to know the tax regimes or legal laws, at least in a general way. You must understand the basic concepts. Looking for legal tax reduction opportunities is very important, even if you are not the one to take care of it completely, as it will always be necessary for it to be managed by a specialist professional. However, you should be aware and informed about the taxation that may affect or benefit your finances. Interestingly, Robert Kiyosaki, in his book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, comments that taxes were created to be applied to the rich. However, due to the state's voracity to meet its expenses, they were extended to the middle classes and the poor, and that, according to the author, they are the ones who ended up paying more taxes. The rich use their corporations or companies, which, as we know, have different tax regimes than people. While people pay taxes on their income, companies pay on their profits. That is, the poor first get their income, then pay their taxes and spend what is left, but companies first get their income. Interesting difference, don't you think? Step 12. Develop your negotiation and communication skills. Communication and negotiation skills will not only serve to improve your financial situation, but also your personal development. Because by nature, we are social beings. Therefore, communication plays an important role in interacting with others. If you develop your communication skills, you can develop your sales skills, which is one of the most important in any venture, especially in the initial stage of the business, where getting customers and selling is the main concern of entrepreneurs, and therefore their main responsibility. This skill can be improved with the habit of reading, as this will help develop your communication, vocabulary, and expression skills, but above all, your ability to persuade. It's no secret that rich people are good salespeople. They know how to sell themselves and their products or ideas, and that leads them to success. If you are a good salesperson, you can earn passive income from your sales, which, as we know, is the key to achieving the much-desired financial freedom. Negotiation skills are also very important in your daily life, whether in your job, in your relationship with your family, or in buying a car. Therefore, it is important that you learn to negotiate. Most people believe that negotiation is for salespeople, but the truth is that negotiation is an essential skill that everyone should learn. Negotiation is the way to achieve our goals, be they personal, professional, or financial. As you can see, financial education is a process that takes time and dedication, but it is an investment worth making because the benefits you will get throughout your life will be enormous. Educate yourself, analyze, save, invest, plan, protect, and live a full and happy life with your finances under control. And you, what are your financial goals? How do you plan to achieve them? Remember that every step you take towards your financial education is an investment in your future. It doesn't matter how small the beginning is, the important thing is to start and persevere. If you have any questions or would like to share your experiences, feel free to comment. We are here to help and support each other on our journey to financial independence. Thank you for taking the time to learn and grow with us. Until next time.